Running through the veins of every living human, blood is an essential part of our existence. Blood loss is the cause of approximately 1.6 million deaths per year worldwide. In a world where this statistic is a reality, a blood substitute could revolutionize the medical world.
We have a whole series of unpredictable catastrophes, the most recent of which occurred 2 days ago in Las Vegas. And about 60 people were killed and several hundred were wounded by unanticipated gunfire. And this is a real crisis. You can imagine that the need for blood for those patients, those wounded, and those who couldn't be saved, the need for blood was instant and it was massive. And the project for ErythroMer is to develop an artificial red blood cell which can be stored like instant coffee. It's dehydrated, it can be stored on the shelf, it can live there on the shelf for years, and then when it's necessary, water is mixed with it, and you have a ready, active red blood cell that can be used. Imagine if these hospitals had a supply in their closet of dried ErythroMer.
I'm Dr. Alan Doctor. I'm a professor of pediatrics and biochemistry at Washington University, and I'm the president of a new company called Calicite. There's an important gap in our ability to deliver transfusion to people who've been in accidents. Right now, all we can do is use blood donated from healthy adults to give to people who've been bleeding. The blood itself is living tissue and has to be kept in a healthy state before it's administered. That means it needs to stay refrigerated, it needs to stay in a controlled environment. It can only be out of a refrigerator for 4 hours before it's no good, just like a transplanted organ. The problem is that people are injured out in the field somewhere, accidents in highways and roads, sometimes very far away from hospitals. We have no means to give them blood to stabilize them when they're out in the field. There's about 20,000 people dying every year in America alone from bleeding before they can get to a hospital. The artificial red cells were designed to specification, and the requirements were that it could be freeze-dried, like coffee or Tang, so that it could be stored dry at ambient temperature for extended periods, that it could be easily reconstituted so that it can just be mixed with water at the point of care, shaken and stirred by somebody with a limited education, and quickly administered to a trauma victim. And also that it would imitate the behavior of a normal red blood cell. That means that it captures oxygen in the lungs and lets go of the oxygen in tissue, and that it doesn't interfere with the normal flow of blood. This is what a unit of blood looks like. This is human blood that's outdated, so that's why it says, meaning it's too old. We use it, in fact, in our lab to compare blood, to the artificial red cells. People have been trying to develop an artificial blood substitute for possibly 60 to 70 years. So we're proceeding very safely, or slowly. We're checking safety in mice, rats, rabbits, non-human primates before we get to humans. The Department of Defense is funding our research, and in fact, the armies of the world are interested. The Israeli army and the NATO command and the Norwegian army have all expressed interest. NASA is also interested in having artificial artificial red cells for the space station and for Mars mission. BARDA, which is an arm of Homeland Security, is also will be funding our project. They're responsible for preparing the country for terrorist attacks. And so there's a number of federal agencies that are planning to support the work. When we eventually commercialize it, we expect it will be bought by hospitals and first providers, ambulances and helicopters. The last sort of group that we hope to support, don't expect to make much money from, are resource-limited settings where they have problems with blood banks. We expect to provide artificial red cells there as well.
ErythroMer is still being tested in rabbits today, and it could be years before the FDA approves it to be tested in humans. Its tests suggest that it has overcome key barriers that have held back blood substitutes of the past. It is estimated that, as long as further testing is successful, ErythroMer could be available for distribution within 10 to 12 years.